Hello and welcome to part 7 of our Screen Reader Savvy series. In this installment, we're going to focus a little bit more on web navigation and some other methods for navigating the web using your screen reader. So let's go ahead and get started. This is just a review from the last session, and it's worth repeating because it's so important. Using the internet with a screen reader can be extremely intimidating, and that's because a lot of those who use a screen reader are not trained on how to navigate the web effectively. There's more to screen navigation and the web than tab keys and arrow keys. There are a lot of effective ways to surf the internet, and we're going to talk about some more of those in this session. Just a quick reminder that the internet is one of the areas that JAWS and NVDA diverge. And we're going to see that even more in this particular section because we're going to talk about some dialog boxes that are specific to each screen reader. And that will be even more evident for this session, but it's worth kind of talking about and repeating. Again, elements are super important. They are basically the building blocks of the web. An element is any navigable object, item, or text. Headings, links, buttons, combo or edit boxes. And as mentioned before, each screen reader has its own dialog boxes and commands that can be used to navigate elements. And we're going to take a look at those dialog boxes here. One thing I didn't mention in the last installment, and it's even more important than you'd think, is the relationship between links and headings. Headings can be links, and links can be headings. That means that if the user is navigating by heading or by link, focus can land on an element that is defined as both. And the screen reader will report if focus is on an item that is also defined as a link when you're navigating by headings, and the other way around is also true. It's important to kind of keep that in mind because if you are navigating by headings and you notice a link, you can obviously interact with that the same way that you would when you're navigating by a link. JAWS has something called a headings list, and that's accessed by pressing the JAWS key or insert plus F6. It lists in the dialog box all the headings that are on a page or website. When you open this dialog, you'll navigate the list by using up and down arrow keys, or you can even use first letter navigation if you know the name of the heading that you're looking for. You can navigate to different parts of the dialog box by using the tab key. One thing that's worth talking about is that if you use a tab key, you can come down to where you have an option to sort headings either in tab order, which is the order that it would naturally fall within the screen reader, or you can do them alphabetically if you're looking for something in particular. I don't know why you wouldn't use first letter navigation for that, but you certainly could. Another one is the display. If you navigate down here to where it says display, the dialog will either display all headings, which is the default, or you can have it display headings at only one particular level, heading level 1, all the way down through heading level 6. The links list in JAWS is accessed via a key command just like the headings list, and that command is JAWS plus F7. All links on a page will be listed in a dialog box, and focus will be brought to the list. You can navigate the list using your up and down arrow keys or first letter navigation if you know the name of the link. To navigate to different parts of the dialog box, press the tab key. There are different parts of the dialog box I want to highlight here. The first part is that list area, of course, and once you navigate away from that into another part of the dialog with the tab key, you'll come across display. There are 3 options or radio buttons that you can check. There's all links, visited links only, or unvisited links only. This is another way, rather than using V or U to navigate to visited or unvisited links respectively, to kind of get to a link that you might need kind of narrow things down a bit. The second tab key will take you to a sorting option, just like in the headings dialog. You can navigate them, or actually you can sort them, sorry, either in tab order as they would normally occur or alphabetically. This other part is important. So if you hit tab here, you can go to what's called move to link. And that will allow you to simply move to the link that's in focus. It won't activate the link. So if for some reason you want to move to the link or where it is on the web page without actually activating it or clicking on it, you would want to, rather than just pressing enter on the links list area, you would navigate to move to link. This can be actually redone by default in the settings center, but normally by default, the action is to activate the link when pressing enter. Again, if you chose to navigate the dialog rather than press enter, you would press the tab key again to focus on the activate link button and tab again to cancel, or honestly, you could just press escape. There's also something called a place markers list in JAWS. Open the place marker dialog with Control plus Shift plus K. This dialog appears, and we'll go through it in a second. It may appear differently once place markers have been added to a given page, but I'm going to kind of go through this dialog a little bit. Place markers is one of the things that isn't really utilized as much in JAWS unless you're kind of into it. And we talked a little bit about place markers before, but what's really neat is that you can create place markers on a web page as well. So once a place marker is added, it will appear in this place marker list. You can give it a name, and you'll find out whether it's generated to the domain, which is like the website title or the area, or whether it's just on that specific page within the domain, like a web page only. Display place markers is the next area if you tab through the dialog, and you can display them by URL, by domain, or just display all of them. And again, that comes down to whether the place marker is added just to a page within a website or applies to an entire domain. Continuing to press tab will allow you to navigate this dialog and add a place marker. Other dialog box options that are grayed out here but are available to you when there is a place marker actually highlighted is one called Move To. The next one is Change, which allows you to change, obviously, how that marker looks, Rename, or Remove All. And then there's the Cancel button. Again, Escape works as well as navigating to the Cancel button. Place markers and landmarks in NVDA cannot be customized. They don't exist in that way. They're already defined within a website. So if the developer has added landmarks, they can be navigated, but you can't add them yourself. Going back to place markers in JAWS, it's possible to add a temporary place marker by pressing Windows plus Control plus the letter K. A temporary place marker can be added at any time, and it will only remain in place and in that location until the user navigates away from that web page. This enables the user to automatically navigate to that place marker by pressing the letter K at any point on that page. It can be useful if you have to refer to a specific piece of information on a page frequently or at all times, but at the same time have to navigate to other areas of the page. You can only have one temporary place marker on a page at a time. So unfortunately, that is a limitation, but it's definitely worth knowing about. Form fields and forms mode in JAWS. We alluded to forms field and forms mode a little bit before, but a form field is something that you would fill out or add your text to, or in some cases can also be a combo box, things like that. To list all the forms fields on a page, press JAWS plus F5, and you will navigate those very similarly to the other dialog boxes we've talked about already. This one is a lot less complex because there aren't as many areas of the dialog box. It's simply a list box, and then pressing tab will take you to OK, and pressing tab again will take you to the cancel button. Just a note on form fields and forms mode for both JAWS and NVDA. When on a website or web page that has forms, press the letter F to navigate to the next form field. And as we said, examples of form fields could be text boxes, combo boxes, radio buttons, anything that's like quote unquote editable or fill outable, really. If there are edit boxes, and those would be boxes you would enter text in, you can press the letter E to navigate to the next one. Once the user has pressed the letter E to move to the next edit field, press space in order to enter text in that field. This activates what's called forms mode. If space is not pressed, the screen reader doesn't know that you're trying to interact with that edit field, and it will continue to navigate you all over the screen. And you're going to get a little lost because depending on what you type, the screen reader will think you're trying to navigate to a specific place on that web page, and that can be an issue. So that's why it's very important to press the space bar when focused on an edit box before entering text. Your screen reader will give you an earcon or a sort of a bonk or something to let you know that you are in forms mode and you can enter text. Once you're finished entering that text, you can press escape to exit the forms mode, or you can press the tab key to remain in forms mode and navigate to the next edit field. That is often a good choice when working with a page that has a lot of edit fields, like a form or things that you have to enter a lot of information in. NVDA has something called an elements list. To open the elements list, press NVDA plus F7. As the name elements list sort of alludes to, NVDA consolidates links, headings, form fields, buttons, and landmarks into one dialog box. So there is no separate way to bring up a dialog for each of these things like there is in JAWS. When NVDA uses one dialog box, JAWS uses several. And that, for some people, can be simplifying, or for other people, it can be confusing. It's a really major way that the two screen readers differ, and it's super important to understand this. So how do you choose an element from the elements list that you want to use and navigate by on a web page? The elements list dialog box has an option to display the element types below that I'm going to talk about here in a second. The user can either navigate the dialog box by pressing tab and use the arrow keys once focused on type to select the navigation element to display in the list. Or the user may choose to use key commands to more quickly bring up the elements to navigate that they would like to navigate by. These key commands are as follows: to list all of the links, Alt plus K; to list all of the headings, Alt plus H; to list all form fields, Alt plus F; to list all buttons, Alt plus B; and to list all landmarks, Alt plus D. So once an element type has been chosen to display here in this dialog box, you're going to need to navigate those different options. So in this case, in this displayed dialog, we have all of the links on a page showing. When focused in the navigation area of the dialog, use up and down arrows to choose the element of the type displayed. Again, here in this example, we are seeing all of the links. The user will activate the link or button when enter is pressed, but if settings are changed, but as noted with JAWS, the default setting can be changed so that the user navigates to the item rather than activates it. With all element types like headings or other things like that, NVDA will simply move focus to that element since there really isn't anything to activate here. There are other areas of this elements dialog box, and when you're navigating that using the tab key, here's what you'll encounter. First, there's a filter by. It's an edit box that will allow the user to enter a search term. So if there's like 267 links and you know that the link name contains flamingo, you can filter by the type flamingo if you wish. Pressing tab again will take the user to the activate button, which is going to activate the chosen link in the navigation area if the default is set differently. That's how you would want to do that. The Move To button, which will move focus to the chosen item in the navigation area. Again, the default may be set differently, and this is why you would access this button to perform this action. The Cancel button is next in the cycle and can be activated by pressing Escape. Pressing tab again will take you back up to where the user can pick the element types, and pressing tab a final time will take you to the navigation area, and then you will start over again here. And that's it. Again, this is a lot of information and a lot of very specific screen reader navigating knowledge, but practice, 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 and you will get better, better, better. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day.